Welcome back to the preview show. I'm Casey Campbell. That's, of course, Jonathan Fiel of the Racing Experts. And by the way, on the bottom, you've seen this guy on the channel. It's Harry Loomis from the Loomis Report, or whatever the hell he does. You're looking very celebratory today, buddy. You got your Cardinals hat on, and of course, celebration that baseball is back. Of course, the owners and players actually did something, and they're going to have an actual season. And no more runner on second, no more 7 innings, double headers. Yay, yay, yay. We'll discuss more in another episode about that. And you got a Matt Kenseth shirt on because today is Matt Kenseth's 50th birthday. So on behalf of everybody at the preview show, happy birthday, Matt Kenseth.
Love you, Matt. Happy birthday.
The preview show. We're now like the Fox booth. If you notice the rotating third guest, you like, of course, Nathan Solomon was on last week. This week will be Harry Loomis. I'm not telling anybody who's on next week or any other week after. It could change. You never know. But yeah, we're going to go to Phoenix this week, or someone's going to Phoenix this week, and that'd be, of course, the guy to my left. Are you excited, Jonathan, to go to Phoenix?
Yeah, excited to go to Phoenix. You know, we got the ARCA Menard series coming up on Friday, and then the NASCAR Xfinity series coming up on Saturday, and Cup series on Sunday, and 2 20-minute practice sessions on Saturday for Cup and qualifying, group qualifying. I kind of like it. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's kind of fun. So we'll see what happens this weekend.
It's single car qualifying, but everyone goes out but it's divided into groups, kind of like IndyCar.
You get the Fast 10 now.
Yeah, the NASCAR Fast 10. We need a sponsor to sponsor that. So anyway, there's been a lot of things going on this week, and it's been a jam-packed week of news, especially in the NFL. But obviously, I want to start off by saying I'm going to send everybody my best wishes go out to all my friends at David Gillen Racing after what happened with Steven Stotts Jr. this week. Of course, if you haven't heard, and credit to this guy on my left for getting the one of the East Texas TV stations feed of it. And it was pretty good. And they did a good job covering it, and that's why local news is important, people. So yeah, it's a tough situation, but I was told today by, of course, Bob Pockers reported this, that DGR will be racing this weekend, of course, in the 17th. So yeah, I still think about everybody at DGR. So, and of course, the family of Steven Stotts Jr. Of course, there is a GoFundMe account as well to help pay for funeral expenses. And obviously, everyone's in a bit of a pinch right now, especially in the times we're living in with these gas prices and stuff, and obviously with the invasion of Ukraine. So if you can, great. If you can't, that's just fine. But of course, if you want to support, there's links all around the NASCAR community as well. So yeah.
Sure. And after the preview show as well, you can check out my Twitter account. I'll be posting the link on there. So one-stop shop as well.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll get to the ARCA stuff in just a minute. But yeah, let's get to crazy weekend in Las Vegas. A couple of things I want to touch on here. There's been some interesting news this week. Let's start off a little bit on the truck race a little bit. After you may have noticed that there during the truck race last lap, Spencer Boyd kind of spun all the way down on the backstretch, and it looks like NASCAR might have not seen him. Now, obviously, I think if somebody saw him, I think they would have thrown the caution, but I just think that there was maybe not enough people that were out there. But NASCAR has quickly directed this and making sure that this would never happen again. Obviously, Boyd had a dislocated shoulder with that, but Spencer Boyd's been very active on Twitter, as he always is, and he said he should be fine for the truck race at Atlanta coming up next week. But guys, this NASCAR's kind of owned up to this, and this is something that needs to be addressed.
I think that's nice to see because, we saw what happened with Trey Hutchins last year at Charlotte, the incident he had with Johnny Sauter. His car was stopped on the outside lane in turn 4. Johnny Sauter came along, sideswiped the truck, destroyed both trucks. You could see the roll cage part of the cockpit after the wreck. So I think it's good that they owned up to it, but it does show that there needs to be a little bit more oversight in the truck series when it comes to calling cautions, when it comes to spotters, tracking trucks and whatnot, making sure that these incidents get spotted. And I'm glad about NASCAR owning up to it. I know kind of going critical on them with this, but it is good to see that they're owning up to this and continuing to live up to that safety, I guess, boiler point, if you will, that they have gone with ever since the death of Dale Earnhardt.
All right. Lewis?
Yeah, I agree with what Jonathan said. It's good they owned up to it, but at the same time, it's something that absolutely, under no circumstances, should be allowed to happen. Um, it's not necessarily a truck issue either. Like we saw on the Cup race Sunday, Eric Jones was in the wall, was spinning out, and it took him a while to throw the caution. The wall was still at full speed, and had a Jeff Fuller-like incident where he had to swerve all the way to the line. Miraculously missed Eric Jones, which would have been just as big of a hit, but he went careening into the inside wall. So it's just things that NASCAR does have control of, that they need to find a way to minimize those scenarios. A car is sitting wrecked on the side of the road, on the side of the train, and nothing happens. We just can't keep having that. We have technology, we have everything like that. It's time to kind of take initiative.
Yeah, for sure there. Let's talk about this this past weekend. We saw three interesting races this weekend. The Cup race, obviously Alex Bowman came out and won the race. And the big talk is like we're seeing parity, but the same teams are winning. We're seeing that across the Cup Series a lot. But what do you think about Alex Bowman's win last week at Las Vegas?
I think it's, Kyle Busch said he backed into a win, but, you have to be good to back into a win. And especially to have as good of a drive as he did on the final lap against Kyle Larson. And what entertainment it was just to see, Chastain run down Busch, and then Truex run down Busch and have that battle, and then Larson and Bowman battle for a lap and three quarters. I think NASCAR has done a great job with this next gen car, and we saw it there at Las Vegas. And Bowman, I mean, shoot, he has the second most wins of any driver since the start of last year. I think it's phenomenal, and I think it's only in due time that he'll get another win where he goes out and dominates the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what Jonathan said. I think much like the Elliott Larson issue, what Kyle said about Bowman was blown out of proportion. Look, that dude started last. He didn't even get to qualify. He was in a backup car, and he drove his butt off the whole day, was in position to win the race, and lost at his home track. He finished third. He finished fourth, I think, when he had the race in the back. He was obviously mad, and of course he didn't. What he said about Bowman wasn't really cool, but in reality, that his issue wasn't with Bowman. It was with the fact that he lost the race. But at the same time, Bowman has dominated some races. Remember, I was at the Chicagoland race where he got his first career win. Well, I had to leave during the rain. But he drove past Larson, held him off one race. He dominated Auto Club in 2020. He drove away at Dover last year. He won the race off pit road. He took advantage of his track position and won. And that's the thing. Bowman struggled with consistency last year, but the thing about him is when he had those chances, he took advantage of them every time. He's like the complete opposite of what Daniel Hemrick is, where Hemrick last year was running up front, dominating races week out, but something happened and it didn't work for him. Whereas Bowman, it didn't happen for him very often. What he did, he pounced on the opportunity. So whether that's luck or whether he's a hack or whatever you call it, because the three teammates are more consistent, and the fact that he's able to go out and win a race when opportunity presents itself says a lot about him. And that's a guy that any team is going to take it on at any point he would ever be in need of a ride, because he's shown it. He's got 7 cups now.
Yeah.
And also, I think to the point about Kyle Busch, that's just Kyle Busch, man. Like, when he's winning, he's one of the best people to talk to. He gives you great sound bites, he gives you great information. When he's not winning and doesn't win a race he thinks he should have, he is the worst. It's fun. NASCAR needs, fun characters like that to get the fans riled up, to, show some fun personality out of it. I think it's great. Maybe it was a little over the line for him to say what he said, but uh, to see Jeff Gluck tweet as many instances of the F word in radio communication, that's just good fun, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is. And no one does it better like Kyle Busch. Um,
And the t-shirts look awesome too. I love the t-shirts. I want to buy one.
Now, did you get one?
I have not bought one yet. I'm still looking. I will say that if Kyle said that quote in an interview, then if he said it right after the checkered flag still in his car.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see on that. Also, I talked to Greg Ives this week, and yeah, he bought one. Obviously, it's going to a good cause, animal shelters and all that stuff. Credit to them, and also the folks at Ally Financial and Andrea Brimmer, who's the marketing director at Ally. So yeah, good stuff there that they do for all the pets out there. Let's talk about something that just broke on a call with the traveling NASCAR Media Corps. Steve O'Donnell said that there will be a double yellow line at Atlanta. Your thoughts?
My first thought is I'm not a big fan of the yellow line rule, so the fact that they're going to add it to 2 more races, my first thought is I'm not a fan of that. And I haven't really been a big fan of moving Atlanta to a mini super speedway type race. But at the same time, we don't know what's going to happen with it yet. So I'm still going to try to have an open mind. But if this race doesn't go well, there's going to be a lot of for what people are going to say is tearing up one of the best tracks on the schedule. So I think NASCAR is kind of taking a big gamble with this. And if it works out, great. But if it doesn't work out, then where are we at with Atlanta?
All right. What do you think, Jonathan?
I think I actually commend NASCAR for it. It's a very proactive move because we don't really know what type of racing is going to take place. If it's going to be 3 and 4 wide pack racing, or if it's going to be kind of similar to what we saw with the 550 package, or maybe something like what the trucks have done. So I think it's good because if we do see a scenario where drivers are driving in a big pack in practice per se, and someone tries to move to the inside, and there isn't a double yellow line rule and they're down on the apron and someone doesn't want to let them back up, there's a big wreck. You wrecked a bunch of cars, you cost a lot of money. So I think it's a good proactive move because if they do practice, and of course they will, when they get to the weekend and they realize that this is not as much of a super speedway package as they thought it was going to be, then it can always be repealed. So I think it's a good proactive move just in case we have something to prevent something from happening, because somebody's got to protect the drivers from themselves. That's why we have the yellow line rule, because drivers would get aggressive otherwise, try moves, big wrecks. So I think it's a good move by NASCAR.
All right. We'll get to what in just a minute, but one more thing I want to hit on first. Let's talk about Ty Gibbs. He won the Xfinity race at Phoenix, Las Vegas. Well, he might win in Phoenix this weekend, but he won at Las Vegas. And someone must have woken up the bear because he was on it at Vegas. The cautions did fly his way. But he was there when he needed to be at the end, and beat out those junior motorsports cars and beat out those Chevrolets. Looks like a lot of people are sticking with the Gibbs again.
Yeah, I really think that race was quintessential Ty Gibbs. When he's on, the talent is unbelievable. He's going to be a force in the sport for so many years to come. But at the same time, he's got a little bit of maturing to do. That incident with Ryan Sieg, call it a racing deal, call it whatever you want. But the fact that he was riding that guy's bumper, no more than 20 laps into the race, like that's just stuff he's going to learn. That's just some maturing he's got to do. But like you said, the way that he was able to drive through that field and flat out beat Noah Gragson on that restart for the win, I'm very excited for the future of Ty Gibbs. I've been a big fan of him ever since he came up, and I think he's nowhere near done winning this year. But like I said, before he gets to the Cup Series, he's going to have to clean up some of that stuff, similar to what Noah Gregg like a couple years ago, where he's just a little bit rough and you kind of had to harness him a little bit. But guys like that, I think NASCAR needs a little bit of character and wild side like that. I think it's good to see.
Yeah.
To be honest with Ty Gibbs, I think it's kind of a conundrum because on one hand, he's been in a couple incidents like this where, he's bumped somebody out of the way, he's ended somebody's day, maybe early on by an aggressive move that arguably shouldn't have been made. But also at the same time, too, he's going out and he's winning races and he's, being a force that everyone has to reckon with. So it's like trying to balance out the two. It's very similar to how Kyle Busch was back in the day. Of course, Ty Gibbs has an infinitely better attitude than Kyle Busch does. You just look at the red flag interview, where he kept a very even demeanor when he was talking about Ryan Sieg, whereas someone like Kyle Busch would have maybe gone off, been really angry. I mean, we know how Kyle Busch was back in the day. So I think I don't know. I think it's just gonna come in time, with him having to learn. And as we've seen with guys like Joey Logano, the veterans have a really good way of regulating the young drivers that come up. Joey Logano got into it with Tony Stewart. He got into it with, Matt Kenseth, and Brad Keselowski, his teammate, got into it with Matt Kenseth as well, and other drivers. So I think in time, you know, we'll see Ty Gibbs, this aggressiveness will kind of even itself out. I mean, he's very young, and it'll come in time. But it's exciting to just see a prospect like this because I don't think we've seen someone like this come up through the ranks since William Byron, where he was instantly successful. It's once in a generation, dare I say.
Yeah. Loomis, what's your favorite Kenseth win?
I'd probably have to go with his last win at Phoenix because I'd say the 2012 Daytona 500, but I was 11 and I fell asleep before they got back from that red flag. So I've always been kicking myself for that one.
Yeah. Hey, Jonathan, do you know what time it is?
Well, I can tell you that I agree with Loomis and that I love that Phoenix win. It reminded me of when Terry Labonte won his final race. But I can tell you what time it is. It is time to do our picks.
Yes. You know who's been really on it with the picks this week or all season long? That's our good friend Mitchell Brewer. Currently leads the standings right now. I'm not last anymore. That's you. You have taken last place, Fiel. Loomis is getting up there. RJ had a big week last week. And Nathan had a pretty good week too. And so did Marty. I did too. I don't know. All right. Well, Jonathan and I have some business to take care of right now because we're going to pick ARCA. Okay. Who you got on Friday night?
Well, ARCA is always a good time at, the Phoenix Raceway, of course. So back in the day, you used to get 40-some cars entering and, D&Qs. And
We have 40 cars this weekend, buddy.
We do. And that's what I was going to get at, is it's like a return back to the old days in the big fields for ARCA. It's exciting to see. It's very exciting. For my pick, I have to go routine. I have to go very routine because Phoenix is just that type of track. We saw Ty Gibbs win last November. I think for Friday's General Tire 150 at Phoenix, give me Sammy Smith. I think Sammy Smith is going to get it done. A number 18 car. You can't bet against the 18 Toyota in ARCA. You just can't. So Sammy Smith.
Well, remember also that it is the 18 Toyota, but remember it's now a KBM car, not Joe Gibbs Racing. So it's a bit of a change there. For me, I don't know. I've been trying to think about who I'm going to pick all day today, but I'm going to go with Taylor Gray, the 17 DGR. They're going to get it done. It's going to be nostalgic. Yes.
What a happy win that would be. I think
that would be a big win and a big win for the ARCA Menard series too. So that's who I'm going with this weekend. All right. let's pick some Xfinity racing. Xfinity cars at Phoenix. Loomis, who you got, buddy?
So we've seen a few different guys conquer Phoenix lately. We've seen Cindric was the man. Recently, he won the championship and won the first race in 2021. Daniel Hemrick's still around.
Yep.
He obviously won the championship last year. The guy I'm going to go with, I can't remember the last time he's won here. It may have been 2017, but he's an Xfinity lifer at this point. This is one of his best tracks. I'm going to go with Justin Allgaier to get it done. Junior Motorsports is finally going to break through this week. They've been running up front. Noah Gregson's just about won every race this week, but I think Justin Allgaier is going to beat him this week.
Who you got, Jonathan?
Well, dang, he took my pick. But no, seriously, I think Noah Gregson's gonna get it done at Phoenix. Just great performance last week. Great season for them so far. I think it'll be Noah Gregson.
Well, I'm gonna go on this JRM train a little bit, and I'm gonna take Josh Berry. He's gonna get it done this weekend. The A team's been really actually all of Junior Motorsports has been really impressive. Noah has, Justin has, and Sam Mayer has too. We saw Sam up there leading laps, but Josh Berry is my pick this week. Sorry, Sam. Okay, let's the Cup race, the Ruoff Mortgage 500 at Phoenix. Let's start with Jonathan.
Someone who I think really needs a good run this weekend, and I haven't really touched that very much. Kevin Harvick, I think, really needs a good run. But one guy who I think, continuing this trend of, we see guys who are kind of underdogs, kind of, unexpected, dominating the race, but a very typical winner. So I'm going to go with Joey Logano to get it done at Phoenix this weekend.
All right.
Well, now Jonathan took my pick. Now I want to be different, and I'm going to think of someone different right off the top of my head. We've seen Hendrick Motorsports has won the last two races. I just saw some stat. They've won, 22 of the last 44. They said no team won 23 or 45. I'll say that changes this week. I'm going to go with the 2017 Xfinity Series winners here. Give me William Byron this week.
Ooh, Willie B. Good. That is a good pick, but guys, we've seen all this young trend and winners of guys under the age of 30. As Jonathan pointed out, we're seeing the youth movement kind of really go out with this because we've seen a lot of guys under the age of 30. We've seen it really since last week. We got Larson. I think all the drivers have won like under the age of 31 or something. So that's been pretty good. Stops here this week. Give me the 18. I'm going to take Kyle Busch this week. He is going to get it done this weekend at Phoenix. The 18 gets redemption and candy for all of the children. It's up there. Well, Stanley Tools is on the card this week, but yes, he will always be the candy man. By the way, you can vote for his favorite paint scheme for a throwback paint scheme for Darlington coming up in a few months. M&M's has put out a nice little contest out there. I haven't checked the voting, but it looks like the two nostalgic cars, the one that Ernie Irvin ran and the one that Ken Schrader ran back in 2002. And Ernie Irvin ran when MB2 started, are leading the current standings right now. So we'll have to see how that goes. But the Candyman's going to get it done at Phoenix. All right.
It's funny because we say we're like the Fox booth, and you just quoted Mike Joy's favorite nickname for Kyle Busch, the Candyman.
Right.
I feel like Mike Joy's like half of those. He was the first one I heard call him Wild Thing too.
Yeah, he is. Well, yeah, I mean, he is. I mean, he's rowdy. He's a good dude. And also, we have all picked someone different once again this week. It's awesome. Love it. Yeah, it should be a fun one. And with this next gen card, it's kind of like everyone's kind of got their own guy that they're going with. So yeah, it's fun, but probably like always, one of the drivers we don't pick ends up winning. That's usually how it works. Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week on the preview show. Who knows who will fill this chair next week? I know who it is. You know who it is. Do not say who it is, or you're not coming back on next week. All right. We'll talk to you later. Enjoy all the festivities at Phoenix. Of course, ARCA on Friday, Xfinity and Cup qualifying. They're returning to that group format again for practice. Each practice gets 20 minutes. Of course, Xfinity does not do the groups. They'll be out there one round of qualifying as well as for the Cup Series. Actually, the Cup Series has the 2 rounds. Goes to the NASCAR Fast 10, or fill-in sponsor here, Fast 10. That's what we're calling it. Yeah, fill in the spot. I can't say the other thing, but yeah. But yeah, they're going to go to the Fast 10. Then out of those will decide who gets the pole for this weekend's race at Phoenix. So tune in. You'll see this kid on the bottom space after the race, probably. I don't know. And who knows what could happen next. But enjoy the race weekend at Phoenix. ARCA on Friday, Xfinity on Saturday, and Cup on Sunday. Talk to you next week when we get ready for Atlanta.